Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to knon.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.
One time.
We'd like to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host. We are our special guest this morning. Again, is Dr. Ron Wright and the president of the Dallas branch NAACP, Dr. Juanita Wallace, is also here in the studio with us. I will not have to announce what much of our discussion will be this morning. I think you do know, and but let me preface this. An indictment does not mean guilt. An arraignment, an indictment, in America, we do know that you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but usually a black man is guilty until proven innocent. Then there's still some doubt.
That's it. You got that.
And
that's correct.
We want to have a civil discussion, agree or disagree. We'd like to have a civil discussion on it, whether you agree or disagree. I am not one who get upset with people because they disagree with me. Sometimes I love it. And for us to have a dialogue on this particular situation. So often we get caught up in the rhetoric and in much of the emotions. But we want to look at things and look at facts and look at things that are going on and ask and try to find out why. The only thing that frightens me about this whole situation, now, I want John to have a fair trial. But do you not know they do not have to pick anybody from Dallas County?
That's right.
To sit on that jury.
That's right.
They don't have to.
It's federal.
It's federal, so it's 7-county federal area. They can go into what? Rockwall?
Yeah, exactly. Various counties.
It's various counties.
They don't have to have federal. Dallas.
You don't have nobody from Dallas on that jury. So it's going to be touch and go. You're going to everybody concerned, going to have to keep their eyes open.
Absolutely.
And see that, make sure this thing is fair. We want to do this. We want to make sure. Win or lose, we want to be fair about this situation. We realize, John and I, we've known each other over the years. I don't know how many years. Some say 30, and I know it's been longer than that since I've known him. And but we have to understand that this could happen to any of us. It could. This could happen to those who are pro him, pro John, those who are against him, for charges to be brought against him. Now, I read the indictment. Looking at the indictment, people believe me, it's strong.
Very strong.
It's strong.
Very strong.
But that does not say he's guilty. They got to prove it. That's the key to this whole thing. Dr. Wallace, let's hear from you this morning.
Good morning. I am so glad to be here, and I'm glad you allowed me to come this morning because the one thing that the NAACP stands for, especially since I've been the president of the Dallas branch, is that I look at process and I look at procedure. And the bottom line is that's where we fall short sometimes. We have to follow the process from the very beginning, starting yesterday.
So you're saying don't get caught up in just the emotions of it?
Absolutely. Because this didn't catch me by surprise. I knew this was coming June 2011. When they first raided his office and first raided his apartment, house, etc. I knew yesterday was going to come.
Right.
I just don't particularly like the fact that it came on that particular day, the same day that the exoneration. See, that was another thing that we have to look at. We have to look at why people do what they do when they do it. Because the bottom line is that took away from the fact that somebody did the wrong thing and putting that man in jail, this black man in jail for 12 years. Now we have to look at that too. Put him in there for 12 years. He's lost his life, 12 years of his life, his family, and everything. And now the man, absolutely.
Are they trying to make sure they get rid of our black district attorney?
I think he's making sure they get rid of himself.
You think so?
Yes, because unfortunately, what happened and what took place Friday, there's a list, Reverend Barnett, we've been fighting of men that need to be exonerated, and that the Dallas County prosecutors have prosecuted simply because they were black men and they didn't want to defend them. So they never was treated fairly as far as justice is concerned. It's about just us with them, and so.
But they went and got this guy. He didn't ask for it.
Absolutely.
You know, I think he had. It seemed like he maybe had given up hope, and was just there.
Well, somebody brought it to their attention.
See, the bottom line is we have to understand that God is supreme. And whatever is done in the dark is going to come to the light.
Absolutely.
And he has divine things in order. Everything is in order, and when it's a certain time, it's going to roll out. But if you can recall, and maybe you don't, when I first came to Dallas, I did a research, because I believe in looking at data and research. Research says black men endangered species. Now, some of you out there can remember that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So the bottom line is, when we say that, we say it very lightly, but black men are endangered species. And do you know that there are so many things coming at the black man? You get rid of the black man, you don't have any black children. And you get rid of the children, you don't have any black race.
Right.
So we have to understand that.
Well, did we not learn that from the Bible?
Absolutely.
They didn't go twice. It happened even with Pharaoh in Egypt, and then it happened when Herod decided he would get rid of all Jewish babies from 2 years old and under. Now, bear in mind, these were black children.
Yes.
In both cases, these were black children, black boys they wanted to get rid of. So this is nothing new. This is not.
It's been a genocidal attack on the black man here in Dallas. Sister Wallace and Reverend Barnett and I've been here all our lives. It's been since the late 70s, 74, 75 is when that genocidal attack started on the black man in this county, and we have to indict the white folk during the 60s and the 70s after Dr. King died. But as it went on to the 80s and the 90s, we'd have to indict them and the black woman because they used her to help take out the black man. And now we have to indict ourselves because we taking our own selves out. We've been taught, last week, Reverend Barnett talked about a mayor who was elected in this city that we never heard of, never done anything in this city, but he gave black folk the mentality of stop protesting, stop fighting. Look, I'm the first black mayor, and you can do the same thing. And with that mentality, we've been sent back another 40 years from where our fight started.
That's correct.
And right now, we're destined to be sent back even farther if we allow this home rule to prevail. We've got to do something about this.
See, we're getting hit from so many angles.
Absolutely.
That we really don't know which way to turn. If you turn back, you're going to get hit from this side. Turn this way, you're going to get hit from the other side. But it's time for us as a people to unite. That's the only way.
Absolutely.
Sister Wallace and I...
Pan-Africanism is the only way that we can solve the situation. That's the only way.
Sister Wallace and I have talked about, because we have two civil rights organizations, and Pastor, of course, you know, you're chairman of ours, is that we need to put together us a pact, and we're going to eliminate and erase a lot of the stuff that's going on now and put us some people in those elected positions that are willing to stand up and be a voice for us.
Right.
Because right now, we don't have that. And that's and what happened to Commissioner Price, and like you said, he's innocent until proven guilty, but the Word of God also teaches for the love of money is the root of all evil. And so if what he did was wrong, it was done in the dark, like Sister Wallace said, will be brought to the light.
And that's what we want. I'm calling for fairness in this.
Absolutely.
He's a black man, same as I am. And I know that I have to seek to keep my nose clean. Stuff I say on this radio, I know I better stay clean. And any black politician, brothers and sisters out there, if you got an office, you're in a position, please keep your nose clean. Please, because they're watching each and every one. I was in Detroit not long ago, and they had about 25 or 30 black people that would have held office in Detroit on trial at one time. The whole city was in turmoil. Well, not only Kwame Kilpatrick, it's a whole lot of them went down with Kwame. I mean, it's sad.
It was predicted, Reverend Barnett, that in a documentary that was put out about 2011, it might have been a little bit earlier, and it talked about the fact that they were going to, this documentary said that they were going to go to the big cities and they were going to look at the black politicians. And in looking at them, now when you hear the word look, you're also looking at conspiracy. When you talk about looking, they were talking about subscribing to the way that they handle money is always the case. But the bottom line is, they said they were going to target these people. They said it up front. Target these people.
They denied it.
Yes. And going to bring them down. Here's the key. Bring them down.
Right.
See, some of the black people in some of the big cities have gotten too big.
Well, do y'all understand? Look. Take a city the size of Dallas, Detroit, some of your larger cities in America, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, Houston. These are your big major cities in America. Do you realize how much, a black man is heading us like that, do you realize how much money he's controlling? That's unheard of.
And that's what this is about.
Just a little city like Hutchins, they had to knock that school district out. Because you're talking about the intermodal down there. You're talking about the Dallas Morning News putting a deal down, putting a plant down there. You're talking about controlling a lot of money. They have to knock that school district down because they will be handling $1 billion a year budget. Anytime when it comes to money, it comes to finance,
that's what this
we
is
getting
about.
close. Hey, we got to go.
That's what this is about, and unfortunately, they dangle that money and we reach grab. Now, some of the same things that the commissioner is probably guilty of is being done by white people, but they never been charged of it. And so, unfortunately, again, like I said, for the love of money is the root of all evil.
Even if he's guilty, sure, white men dog time.
And never get indicted, That's true.
No. But we know we have to keep our nose clean. Like I said last week, I hope he don't go to prison. No. I don't want to see him going to prison. I want to see the black elect wake up and realize to elect people that really going to represent our interests. Now, over the years in that area out there in the southern
sector,
we needed an airport. In fact, the Republicans and many Democrats wanted to put one out there.
Out there in the southern areas.
They blocked it. It was blocked some kind of way, and I was told how it was blocked. Airport near the intermodal system out there. The airport would be similar to the size of Love Field. It would serve everything from southern Dallas all the way down to Waco, over far east and Tyler, all that area. It would have a large base. But there were those who did not push that, who did not want that because they wanted certain arrangements before everything came down. So we got a lot of things that we got to deal with.
But how did they come? What Commissioner's Court is the one that would have been responsible. Commissioners were responsible for allowing that to happen. Whenever there's economic development in the communities, that lies on the commissioners in the county of Dallas.
In Dallas County.
And
but
so,
Dr. Wallace, why have you not run for one of those offices that, whereas it takes somebody with a good mind, a willing mind. Now, I ain't talking about just smart people. So you have smart devils, you do know that. But I'm talking about people that have the right heart. Run for that certain offices in this time. Because look, you can leave I-35, go east on I-20. You can drive for miles and miles and see nothing but jackrabbits and snakes. That's all. Have you know what? There's so much undeveloped land in the inside Dallas County, inside the city of Dallas.
Well, let me answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
I ran for DISD trustee.
No, but that district was set up wrong for you, and the district is really controlled by whites.
All right, but let me tell you what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a Dallasite. I came from another state, the state of Ohio here. And this city is very tribal. You know that.
Oh, yes.
Very tribal. And with that being said, when I ran, I did not get the support. However, after I did not win and they put another person in that particular seat, I got all kind of people coming to me, I wish I had voted for you. Well, it was too late. It's too late for them. Mm-hmm. And then when there was term came around again, they said, why don't you run? I said, no, I'm not going to run. I spent my own personal retirement money to fund my campaign.
Right.
I didn't get
any money.
I didn't get any money. You know why I didn't get any money, Reverend Barnett?
What?
I'm going to tell you, when I held my press conference in front of African American Museum, I had about 40 people standing behind me. They supported me in their little small financial way. But I also made part in my campaign message that I cannot be bought. Okay. There were people had given me checks, and they requested their checks back after I said I can't be bought, and I still cannot be bought.
Well, you didn't know the Dallas way.
So that's why I have not run, and that's why I'm where I am today. I believe that justice is important, and I believe that what I've done is what God wanted me to do. To be out there, to talk to people, not to be afraid, but at the same time not to have to take any money from anybody.
All right. Those of you who are hanging on the line, just hang on the line. I'm going to take calls. We're about, about 2 minutes out from a break.
No, we're on break.
We're on break right now? We got a line open, 972-647-1893. Get that line, and I guarantee you this next segment I will take calls. We'll be right back. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host. Our special guest this morning is Reverend Ron Wright and Dr. Juanita Wallace, and you can reach them at 972-647-1893. We're talking about a myriad of things. We know what's on everybody's mind, but we want to make sure you don't get caught up in just emotions. There are things around this that really can affect your life, and we want to make sure you know what's going on. We're not getting caught up in emotionalism. We're going to get caught up in the truth. Many support John. Many don't, but we want to get the truth out, and he's innocent until proven guilty. All right, we want to make sure of that. Indictment does not mean guilt. It does not mean guilt.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but all of our lines are filled, but you keep on calling, because I want everyone who possibly want to call to want to get. I know I can't get them in, but we're going to try to do our very best. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Gerald. All righty.
Hello?
Yes, good morning, Gerald.
Good morning.
Go right ahead.
Yes, John Price is one of our pioneers that with the Al Lipscomb and all that led the forefront of standing up for the people of Dallas County. I'm not going to say just black people. He stood up for everybody. And this is something to dismay us, to give this man support. But he definitely needs our support if there ain't nothing but a prayer. If it's nothing but a prayer. But also, you take it. Ever since I've been in Dallas, since I was knee-high to death, but they've been after anybody that come up and stand up for what is justice. And that man, I've been doing that since I've known him to get into politics. I'm just saying this. I'm like I said, I'm getting into the emotional aspects of it, and I'm trying to hold off on that. But I'm just saying the people of Dallas County that support him, he definitely need our support now. Please do that. And don't go off into being dismayed about this federal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
They got on the news conference yesterday, they got a Spanish woman. Then they got the man that followed, like I say, follow the money. Who is the one that they let speak following the money? The IRS representative. You know, they figured they can't get him with drugs, they can't get him with anything else, but they going out there for the possessions of the material possessions that he got, and everybody know that if he's that smart enough and strong enough to stand to fight the people and Every penny he come into his office, he distributed it out. He don't hold on to that like others. But let me get in there.
What do you mean?
Right, thank you for taking my call.
I'm right. You have a comment?
No, he was saying every penny that he comes to his office, he distributes out. What does he mean by that?
I don't know.
What does he mean by that?
I don't know. Maybe he's saying he don't believe he steals. That's the only thing I can get out of it.
Okay, Sister Wallace said it first.
What I want to say about this, and I can agree wholeheartedly with the caller, in a sense, part of it is that we have to support him. And when I say support him, I mean we have to strategize and we have to be watching carefully to see that he's not railroaded. The other thing is there's a group of people that's going to be looking out not only at the investigation, but we're going to be looking out to help him to get justice wherever justice is. See, the bottom line is we can't afford to sit back and pretend like or say we care about him and don't do anything. If you love somebody or you care about somebody, you show that. And the bottom line is the man is right. He has stood up for a lot of people. I don't know if anybody remember the time when there was a whole big apartment complex. All of the water was turned off, and that was so dear to me until it almost brings tears to my eyes every time I think about it. Those poor black people over there didn't have water. John called on a group of us. We went down to the city and we demanded that the water be turned on without having to pay that monumental bill. I don't know if you remember that, but it was similar to the situation in Detroit. And I said, water is a civil right.
Detroit, they're shedding everybody's water off, aren't they?
Water is a civil rights, and if you're denied water, then that's a basic need that everyone has.
Let me ask you a question since you said that, and not going against Commissioner Price, but let me ask you, with that particular incident, why didn't the city councilman at district stand up for that? Why did the commission have to tell the community to do it? Why didn't the city councilman do it?
I can't get into the minds of other people. All I can know is what we do.
Where was this complex?
We actually, it's South Dallas. What we have to do is on a regular basis hold everybody accountable. You know, when we have kids in the school, we give them a report card.
Right.
And if you can recall, and you may not, the NAACP issued a report card for the last superintendent. And we're working on a report card for this superintendent as well as for the mayor.
Do we need a card?
Oh, yes. What we do
is he worth the ink writing on a card? This superintendent?
This superintendent?
This superintendent.
Oh, okay. What we have to do is look at the indicators as to what he's done. And for each indicator we can give him either A or an F. And that's what NAACP did. And the bottom line,
did he deserve a raise? I noticed Sister Joyce Foreman, who just got in there, was one that said he hadn't been evaluated. Why would you give him a raise?
He does not need a raise.
He's evaluated.
As a matter of fact, he does not need to be in the city of Dallas. He needs to be gone.
Yeah.
Just like the other superintendent. What was his name? Hinojosa.
Yeah.
You know, we protested down there in front of 3700 Ross Avenue for one solid year, every Thursday from 5 to 6.
Yeah.
And the bottom line, and we had to get him out of here.
Yeah.
When the board members, the trustees, pick these people, they only pick, they've been told to
And
pick
Joyce
from.
was the only one but against that raise.
Oh, well, Bernadette followed Joyce on that, so they both said there was only two
What
that was
about
against
Brother
it.
Lou?
There was 2 against 5, I think. That was only 2.
Was Lou Blackman there?
Yeah, Lou's there. And Joyce made a valid statement. She said, wait a minute, before we give him a raise, let's evaluate him and see what he's done. But if you don't just give anybody a raise just because you want to give him a raise, let's evaluate him, see what he's done throughout the year before we give him a raise. Let's do that. But they were voted against.
I think the superintendent should be held to the same standards as he's holding the teachers to. The bottom line is that new initiative he came out with is absolutely not just. And like I said, the NAACP, we stand for justice. At least I do. Ever since I've been in that position, I look for justice and I look for fairness.
Yeah,
and if I don't see that, then as far as I'm concerned, my report card on you is going to be an F.
Well, the thing about it, if you preach a strict sermon, you ought to live a strict life.
Right. Absolutely.
And that is not happening down at 3700 Walls. It is not happening. All right, 972-647-1893.
I was just wondering, did Mike Rollins have anything to do with Mike Miles coming here? Do you think this all was a setup for the city?
Absolutely. if you look back, there was a committee, several committees brought in, and the NAACP as a representative, I sat on one of those committees, and the people that I interviewed and the people that we talked to regarding being a superintendent, we never got a chance to see Mike Miles. And all of a sudden, the people that they brought in were no longer there. All of a sudden, they bring in Mike Miles. They got him hired, and he's already in place. And I don't know who was.
What size city did he come from? Where was he?
Very
Colorado.
small,
Colorado.
Why do they keep getting these guys from these little bitty towns who never dealt with a large, urban district? Why?
Because the people in North Dallas decide who they want, but they're smart enough to know that they've got to get people that cannot think. They've got to get people that will accept that little money that they're giving them. Absolutely. And we're glad to get it, because this man got a raise coming to Dallas. Think about the money he was making in Colorado. Not very much. Right. So when he came to Dallas, he was getting a whole bunch of
$300,000 is grand theft to him.
You better know it is. And now that's not all. We got to understand. I want to answer this question. So here you got your mayor, Rollins. Okay.
All right.
He's not my mayor. Here he comes, and he brings in Mike Rollins. Now there's Mike Rollins, Mike Miles, and then they have this other man on the board called Mike Morath with the three mics.
Three blind mics.
All right. They go ahead and they bring in the big man with the big money, Arnold.
Right.
And all of a sudden, now it's not by coincidence, then they come up with a home rule. Right. Now, with this idea of a home rule, they also created this commission. And with this commission, 15-member commission, then what they plan on doing is rewriting the charter. And the mayor already said, I keep the article here in my portfolio, mayor backs home rule plan for DISD. The mayor wants to become
the superintendent?
Right. Well, in reality, he will not be the superintendent. He will be the chancellor, because he would be not only over DISD, but he would also be over the city. Now, he's not.
So all of that money,
we're talking about $1.5 billion from DISD. We're talking about another $1.3 billion for the rainy day fund. Right. And then we're talking about whatever little money they got in the city. I think they're going.
What about a bond package that's coming in too?
Oh yeah, they're thinking about that. So this mayor that came from a position of being a thug.
Yeah, payday loan king.
Yeah, he wants to go all the way up to being a billionaire.
Let me ask you,
off of the taxpayers' money. That's what we're talking about.
What do you think about those people that look like us in positions that don't say a thing and support people who at one point they were against? Now, he was responsible for the payday loan, but at one point there were a group of pastors that were against the payday loan, but they ended up supporting this mayor.
You know what?
Well,
I got chided by two of your trustees when I made the comment that they had their palms greased, and you know what I mean when I say that.
Right,
these people have accepted money.
Right.
And you can go far in life if you fold up and accept money, but can you live with yourself? Can you have a conscience about yourself?
Obviously, some of these fellas can.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess so. But
let me take some calls. All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to. Is that Danielle? All righty. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm also a member of the NAACP Dallas branch, and I just wanted to say thank you for bringing this issue to the forefront. And I also wanted to say thank you to our wonderful president, because I just wanted everyone to know how hard Dr. Wallace actually works. She has more energy than anyone I know, and she stands behind everything she says. She's always on the go, bringing these causes to the attention of the people. Just flew in from Vegas last night, and here she is on your show this morning. So thank you and kudos to her. But I wanted to let
she's glad to be here because, boy, somebody fell in love with her this morning. Every time I turn around, he was hugging her.
She is truly an inspiration. I wanted to say about this situation with this man. I'm not from this area. I'm new to Texas, from eastern Ohio. And I just want people to really stand behind this, because we all know that he is not the only one. If he did take any money or receive any funds, we all know all politicians, anyone in that position are doing the same thing, but they always want to shine the light on us and try and make it seem like we're doing something wrong. He's innocent until proven guilty. I think he's innocent, and I just want all of us to really do our part, whatever it is, a march, a phone call, a letter, to help this man get exonerated. He's innocent until proven guilty. And we always jump the gun, and we want to get on the bandwagon, and if we think it's going to promote us in some type of way, and I'm talking about some African Americans who don't want to stand up and speak out for what is right. So I just want to encourage all of us to do our part and make sure that we stand behind this man and know that he is innocent until proven guilty.
I appreciate you saying that, and we're going to be laying out a whole bunch of strategies on how we're going to support him.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions about how we support him, you can always call the NAACP's office at 214-916-9919. We're going to lay out a bunch of strategies because as a retired educator, I believe you got to have strategies in order to execute your objective. And
exactly.
Our objective is to make sure that the process and the procedure, we cannot say whether he's innocent or guilty, but we can say that we're going to work the process. We're going to make sure he gets a fair trial. We're going to make sure he gets the kind of jury that he needs, and we're going to make sure that we follow our strategy chart to the very end.
And do our part, because people don't want us to speak out, and we fall for that so many times. We say we're just going to play the game. What game? The game is being played on us. We have to speak up. We have to continue to speak up and let our voices be heard, and everyone has to do their part, because it's not just him that's going to hurt from this. We are all going to suffer if we don't stand up and speak out for this man, because they can keep doing it over and over and over and over again, and that's what they continue to do, because they know that we're not going to come together. At least they think we're not going to come together. Let's prove them wrong, and let's come together.
Let me ask you a question. I'm playing the devil's advocate. What happens if we find out that he is guilty? Why is it that we got to wait till somebody get in trouble for us to be a voice? We need to be a voice on every issue that concerns our people. We don't have to wait till one of our elected officials who is corrupt get caught, and then we got to say we're going to stand up for it. What are we going to do if we find out that what he did, what he was guilty with? Then what is it going to say to us? We got to start holding them accountable, and not just elected officials, but as black people, we got to hold ourselves accountable before it gets to this point. Why do we got to wait always till we get in trouble, but we decide we need to be a voice?
Absolutely right.
But to reinforce what Dr. Wright said, let me say something.
Yes, sir.
Why is it that when we see issues that's hitting our community daily, I don't see any elected officials out there addressing these issues, but I do see the Dallas Branch NAACP president out there fighting daily. See, we have people that cause justice seekers every day that's got problems, and these are valid issues. I mean, I'm not talking about they just calling and jiving. These are valid issues, but you will not catch hardly. I'm trying to think of any elected official we had that's been out there on these issues that's been plaguing our community. And it's time for this to stop. It's time for this to stop. It's time for us to get people that truly care about our community out front in these elected offices. It's time for that. It's time for us to stop playing games and doing everything.
Absolutely.
Being elected just to make money. Now, what we need to do, yes, we need to stick together on this one, for the simple fact, when we see something coming down, we don't want to be prejudgmental on this thing, and as they say, rush to judgment. No. But let's not get caught up in the emotions, and let's let this justice system, if it's any good at all, to scores. But where it'll take it to scores, we're going to have to watch it closely.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
We
do have to money.
We can't allow them to slip certain things in, and they're not true. Because if you hear a lie long enough, you'll begin to believe it.
Absolutely.
So that's how we got to deal with this.
You know, Pastor, I've been here for years, and you have too, and we know John Wiley Price. And I'm to the point that if he was innocent, he would be going off on them real crazy, because John is known for going off on people.
Well, all right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Ike. Oh, we're up against a break? Tell you what, we're up against a short break, and you call us at 972-647-1893. All right. All right, we're back on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host. Our special guest this morning is Dr. Ron Wright and Dr. Juanita Wallace, and we're discussing a myriad of issues, including Commissioner John Wiley Price, and we're discussing home rule and anything you'd like to discuss. Only thing we ask, let's discuss it intelligently. Let's not lose our temper and go crazy over this and that. Let's let the courts run its system, but let's watch the courts as it run its system. We don't want them to step over the line and run out of bounds and all of this.
Right.
And make sure things are done fair. All right.
Absolutely.
972-647-1893 is the number to call. Which call was I going to? Ike. All right. Line 3. All right. Give me line 3. All right. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning.
Fine. How are you this morning, Ike?
Doing great.
Mr. Ike Steen, one of our great supporters here on KNON. Go right ahead.
Well, I was listening to your program, and I like what Reverend Wright said a while ago, and I think you kind of, reinforced it a little bit. Is why is it, I'm not saying John is guilty or innocent, but I think when the thing first went down by one of the pastors here in Dallas, not to judge and just wait and see where this thing goes. But now, if I say I think he's guilty, I'm judging. But if you say you think he's innocent, then you support him. So I think that the people who, just might not think that he's that clean is getting a bad deal in this. But not only that, I don't understand why is it that when people like John or anybody else in this city that's in the political front, when something happens to them, the whole city wants to outcry that injustice. But when something happens to one of our kids or one of our neighbors, we have a hard time getting people to look at Dr. Edwards' case. Nobody wants to help Dr. Edwards.
And see, and not cut you off, Ike, that's one of my biggest things with your DA. They had promised me that they were going to meet with Dr. Edwards and you. I'm gonna have to tell it over the air. And they've shot me a ghost, which has very much upset me. I'm pulling for this DA. I don't ever want to go against a black man that's trying to make it in this nation, but it's hard to deal with people that will promise you and then disappoint you. Not more than once, and but that's here and there, and yes, Dr. Edwards has a great case that he should be have his day in court. Here's a man they won't even give his day. This is a physician. They won't even give him his day in court. Are you familiar with this case, Juanita?
No, I'm not.
I'm gonna have to introduce you to Dr. Edwards.
Dr. Travis Edwards.
And the man, he was a doctor doing house calls. They didn't like it.
Black and white house calls, not just black folks, black and white folks.
Yeah, white folks they did black.
But because he had so many clients, they tried to accuse him of a criminal of theft and lying, and this man was actually taking care of people.
And you know good and well, had he stole any money, he'd be in prison. But they just refused to play him. And it's slow down there. He can't get his day in court. He was going to court, but this particular judge, I'm trying to think his name.
Carlos, what is his name? He just lost the seat. He was accused of molesting the girls, and he was the judge.
Yeah. And all he asking for is his day in court. That's all. And they won't give it to him. It's a...
Well, we look at a multiplicity of cases on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. So if
I'm going to call Dr. Edwards today, and we'll see exactly what he's been trying to reach me, but see, y'all know my telephone don't work. I drop it in that water. I can hear some days it works, and then it turns out and decide it don't want to work. So I don't.
Yeah, we got to get your phone.
No, I'm gonna get you a phone. But anyway, we have Dr. Brother Steen's son. He stands up for his son. And is he gone? Is Ike gone?
He just called back too. I thought you were done. But yeah.
Okay, and
he was accused of a crime that he did not commit. and they've got it on video, but yet they charge him with that crime, and because the person, the supposedly victim mother was a police officer.
Dallas police officer.
And so, did she have a part to do with why his son was convicted of what he was? I can't say she didn't, but I'm assuming she did.
Yeah.
So because his son was innocent, and the video proves that it was innocent.
Mm-hmm. So we got another fight right there. See, there's things going down every day.
And that's where we need to be a voice, not just because of what's going on with Commissioner Price, but we need to be a voice on a daily basis, because people are suffering that don't make the news. We don't own media, unfortunately, and me and you talked about that this morning. We don't have anybody to tell our story but Reverend Barnett in Community Forum show this morning. Other than that, it never gets told. And so people are out there struggling on a daily basis. Reverend Barnett said it. Justice Seekers get a call every day.
We got an agreement with ACP now that y'all will be on at least once a month. At least. I didn't say just once. Yeah. And we want to bring forth issues. Y'all always know that Reverend Wright is going to always be here, and the different people that are working in the community. That's what we want to bring out, community workers. We're not here for a king and queen contest. You know, that's the way black folks are voting in Dallas. You remember the king and queen contest with we were children? Who got on the prettiest dress and all this and wear the biggest crown. So, no, we're here for issue. All righty, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to Larry. All righty, good morning, Larry.
Dr. Barnett, I want to ask you a question. Have the NAACP or John Wiley Price ever got our people in contact with the inventor, Dr. Bell? Nobody pays attention to him.
Who?
John had never paid attention to him. He's an inventor. He invented lights off the grid right in Pleasant Grove.
Dr. Bell?
Dr. Bell.
Let me answer that question.
Bring him on.
Let me answer that question, because you did refer to the NAACP. I've been the president for 6 years, and I keep a docket and a list of people that I help. But the only way I can help you is if you contact the NAACP. I am a volunteer. And not only volunteer, we have a office, one person that answers the phone. But anybody that call our office and asks to be helped, we direct them to fill out the complaint, we address it. And I've got
he invented lights off the grid right now, and he's fighting a fight. He's an inventor.
Well,
70-year-old.
I tell you what.
Has he contacted NAACP? Has he filled out the form for us to help him?
Okay, that's what you want to do. But
absolutely.
You know he has. Wait a minute. You know he has done a lot. He's in the morning newspaper 2 Sundays ago.
What's his name? Dr. Bell?
Dr. Don Bell.
This could easily be because the inventor of the cell phone lived in Terrell, Texas.
Yeah.
In Terrell, Texas.
But we got another kid that's the cyberspace champion of the world. Nobody knows him. What's wrong with him?
I tell you what, get me this information. We sure will bring these people on and let the community know about them.
Okay.
When you said nobody know about them, you're right. I had never heard of them. I'm sorry for my ignorance on this.
And I live in Pleasant Grove.
And my church is in Pleasant Grove. So,
all right. And I got another question. John Wiley Price has never filed a suit on behalf of a county employee. What's up with that?
What county employee? Which one?
None.
That's true.
Was that the deal where they have this discrimination in the warehouse?
Well, that is one of the cases that has been filed in against Dallas County, and now I don't know what the status is going to be. Commissioner, well, he's still sitting on the commissioner's court, but that's a pending case of discrimination in Dallas County.
But all that time he's been working there. He never filed a suit on the behalf of a county employee. People getting fired, been working there 20 years and stuff like that. Black people.
Let me just tell you one very quick example. There were 6 black men that were deputies, and they contacted the NAACP, followed the procedure, and I met with them over 5 times. I held a press conference. I wrote a letter to Sheriff Lupe. I talked in front of the commissioner's court, and they have their jobs, and I can give you their names. See, once again, there's a process and a procedure. Absolutely. NAACP saved the jobs of 5 black men that were deputies.
See, things about that, that's why we want you on. You come on and tell things that are going on in this community. Like I told people, even on last week, you got people out here that's working every day to help our people, and they are unaware. If you're not on the evening news, they think you're doing nothing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the NAACP let the cyberspace champion of the world, 24 years old, everybody in the country in Johannesburg, South Africa, go unnoticed.
Did you know about this? Were you aware of this?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And as you stated earlier, and I will repeat, I am the NAACP. I'm a volunteer. Wait, sir, just a minute. And the other thing is, I don't have a media outlet. In other words, if I'd known about it and had a media outlet, I'd have broadcasted loud and clearly.
Well,
I don't have a radio station, or do I need to have a TV station?
What's his name? What's his name?
His name is Rafiq Bryant.
Say that again. I missed it.
Rafiq Bryant.
Rafiq Bryant.
Yes.
He's the cyberspace champion of the world.
And wanted in Johannesburg, South Africa, the most prejudiced place on earth.
I don't know.
That's absolutely wonderful, but I think most of my focus has been with the black folks and the press, Hispanics here in the city of Dallas.
This Don Bell with that invented lights off the grid is just incredible. Now, ain't no way he's not supposed to be noticed in the black community.
Well, closed mouths don't get fed.
Well, I tell you what, we certainly will. If you would write me here at Knon and get me the information, we'll contact these people, and I'll definitely have them on my program. We do what we can to get the word out there that our young people can see this and get inspired. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for your call. All right, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Let's go to Reverend Crenshaw on line 1. All righty. Good morning, Rev.
Good morning, Rev.
How are you this morning?
Doctors, I can't get the old name.
Wallace and Wright.
Right.
Just call them 2 W's.
Yeah, 2 W's.
Come on, Rev. Did we lose him?
Okay.
All right, okay. 972-647-1893. Did we get Larry on line 2?
Okay.
Larry on line 2. Is that Larry? Okay. No. All right, who do we have on line 4? Okay.
Let's find out. Nobody. We got Tony on 3.
All right, bring Tony on. All righty. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Reverend.
How are you?
All right, yes. Well, this is what I want to say about selling practice waste. At the end of the day, they're not going to get them on bribery charge. They're going to get them on the tax evasion and mail fraud. That's how they get mobs. Same thing. They can't get them on that. They're going to get them on.
Well, yeah, they're always going to use tax evasion or mail fraud if everything else fails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, the thing about the sad part about it, they don't have to have a jury.
That's right.
To get
That's
you on
IRS.
Yeah, IRS. This is why the IRS is a part of the deal.
Absolutely.
And in fact, if they lose in a trial, IRS step in and say, "Well, we got your income tax evasion, and can't nobody prove them wrong."
And
So
one thing I want to
this
ask
is what
you
you have to watch.
What I would ask you the conversation is this: if he's found guilty, the vote is going to be there. You know, the black establishment is already out there, already have a candidate waiting to win.
Who is that?
I don't know. It's part of politics. If one of your politics,
we having I tell you what, Tony. Call back because can y'all hear him? I can't hear him.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now you're back. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, they have somebody out waiting in the wing for that spot. And that black establishment is a black establishment that always been here, you know, that have put people in place. So my thing is,
hello?
Just in case, at the end of the day,
I tell you what, Tony, we're going to be going to an 8 o'clock break in just a month. Make sure you call us back because somehow you're fading out. Sound like you're making a good point, but you keep fading out.
I think what we want to know is in the event that Commissioner Price loses his seat, is there somebody that the community has that can come in and take that position without them picking somebody, but somebody that the community and the citizens of Dallas, in which we all have been discussing about putting together a true pack of people who want to represent the community to go into that seat, and that's something that we are looking into. To, in the event that do happen. But again, me and Sister Wallace talked about this morning about passing the baton. We live in a society where everybody wants to kind of keep their job until they die off. I don't mean necessarily physically, but until things like this happen or until something physically die, and then we got to start over from ground zero as a community. And we need to start training people to pass these batons to, so we can retire and have a good life, and we continue to do what we need to do.
That's right. All right, 972-647-1893 is the number to call. Bring me line one, a concerned female. All right.
Hello?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed. This concerned citizen.
Concerned citizen. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to say that I don't know John Wiley Price personally, but I've seen how he goes around the neighborhood and goes to different churches, and like I said, he had part in Bill in jail. And I'm for anybody that's right. Just because other people find fault in him, you know, I don't have the right to do that because I haven't seen what they've seen. It's anybody. I mean, one thing about it, God bless the pound, you all of you. But one thing about it, it's another question I'm going to ask again. I asked before, do they have any black commissioner other than John Wiley Price that's going to be on that board when he leaves?
That's an elected position.
Well,
whoever gets it has to be elected.
It makes no difference what color, but God has no respect to person. And I've been in Dallas all my life. I was born here. I've seen the changes. It's some prejudice from outside and within. But I want to say to everyone, especially the colored race, and I'm part of it, watch what you say. You notice the other races, they sit back and they listen to us, and then they go behind doors and do their strategy. And we have to watch what we say and be wise, because it's the enemy behind everything. And the Lord said in his word, John 17:17, that word is true. So all this about John and it's all about money, period. With my
now you hit the right track.
Yeah,
just follow the money trail on anything.
Money is the root of all evil. But we got to remember, keep our faith in God, and remember that God is still on the throne. And he's the creator and the owner of this world. James Brown says it's a man's world, but this is God's world. And then the prince of this world,
God is a man.
He's going to be starved, and hell is enlarging himself. So we don't have to fret.
All right.
God.
Thank you. I never thought about it. James Brown did say that. All righty. Thank you. I tell you what, we're up against a short break, and we'll be going into hour number 2 in just a moment. So you stay tuned, and we'll be back for hour number 2. And you can call us at 972-647-1893. We'll be right back. I would like to say we're back for hour number 2 on Church Information and Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host, and our special guests this morning, Dr. Juanita Wallace and Dr. Ron Wright, and we're discussing issues that are going on pertinent to you here in Dallas and all the Metroplex and really around the nation, because the same thing going down everywhere. Yes, wherever you go, you're going to find the same thing going on in our communities and around this nation. You go to Detroit, you go to Cleveland, you go to Baltimore, anywhere, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles. The same thing going down everywhere. It's no different from any other city in America. And until we wake up as a people and unify, it's going to go down like this. Dr. Wallace?
And can unify simply by making sure that we vote. We think that the presidential election is most important, but it really isn't. We have to start down at the very bottom. As early as voting for trustees that's going to handle the money and handle our children. Right. Our children are the most best resources that we've got. And then we've got to vote at city council. Not only vote, but we have to stand up and speak out at city council. And then we go on up the line, representatives and senators, etc. If we are not voting, then we don't count.
Was it true you asked the council All of you for home rule, raise your hand. What was that you asked down at the city council? They wanted to escort you out?
Yes, I said, raise your hand if you're for home rule. And the bottom line is nobody raised their hand. But I knew the people up there at the Horseshoe were for home rule. As a matter of fact, the mayor is the number one culprit.
Right.
The mayor brought in John Arnold for home rule. And the bottom line is home rule is going to eat our lunch if we don't do something about it. Not only
But we got to keep it on the minds of the people.
Absolutely.
Definitely so.
So what about the elected officials that look like us that went to public schools that are not saying anything?
Well,
one of the callers said being a voice. What about that?
Didn't you say something about keeping your mouth shut? What did you say something a few minutes ago about that? I didn't understand that. I've never heard that word before. But if you don't speak up, silence is not necessarily golden. Don't be fooled by that. If you stand around,
silence means consent for most
absolutely.
people.
And the bottom line, if you don't stand up and speak out on issues, then people assume that you're going along with the status quo, and we can't afford it. I want you to think about how many of you and where you would be if you had not gone to public school. Because if you were like me, my parents couldn't afford to send me to a private school, and at that time, it was no charter schools. But I was told by my mom and dad that I must go to school, and I believed them because they were in charge of the household. And then on from high school on to college, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the bottom line is independent school districts are for black people. As a matter of fact, charter schools are discriminatory.
Well, I mean,
did you know that?
You cherry pick charter school.
You pick and choose who you want to teach.
Absolutely.
But what about elected officials that look like us that don't have meetings with us to talk about those things? They have meetings when they want us to vote for them, but what about when situations like this come to our community?
Well, the bottom line, you have to understand that there are people that only want your vote when it's time for election, but when it comes to addressing the issues, they don't want to address the issues. And you have to call them out when they don't address the issues. If you know...
Well, we had that really showed us they were for the charter school system.
Absolutely.
Well, we remember on another radio station we was over there, and you had this city councilman. He was there, and you could tell he was for
what I told you.
He's for the charter system. He spoke up for it, argued against it, argued
you have
for
to
it.
understand why people say what they do. It's been stated that people sell themselves because they are afraid of losing their jobs. That's a sad situation, but they are. They buy a big house, they buy a big car, and then they have to become mute because they're afraid of losing a job, which will cause them to lose the things that they've accumulated. So we have to understand that, and we have to call them out.
So should we be a voice when that happens, and not just when things happen to county commissioners, but what about our elected officials, period? Should we be a voice when things like that happen?
If you can recall me saying earlier, you have to keep an ongoing report card on every person.
Right.
Write the person's name at the top. Make 2 columns. What they did and what they didn't do. And when it's time to vote, you put that report card out to the community and you say, now you voting for this person? That if you vote for this person, you're hiring this person to do this. But so far, he or she hasn't done a single thing in your interest. It was once said, we have no permanent enemies. We have no permanent friends, but we have permanent issues.
Right,
and we've got to look at issues and address those and look at the people that are helping us with those issues. If they're not helping us, then they're hurting us. So you can't elect them again. Don't vote them in. That's what I say.
Okay, and the reason why I'm saying it, the prime example last week, and we talked about this, our county commissioner said, one of the county judges said that he didn't want to have to come to the southern sector to have a committee meeting about the immigration group of people that they're trying to bring, because all these folks going to do is argue and run their mouth, and how disrespectful is that? I mean, not on his part because somebody told him to say that, because he wouldn't have said that, but what about those elected officials that are in that district where they're trying to bring the immigrant children? Why haven't they said, okay, let me have a community meet with my community and let them know, even if they support it, let them know why I'm supporting and what we need to do? Why do they assume, and the caller keeps saying we need to be a voice, not just when it happens to people because they made some mistakes, but why we can't be a voice on a daily basis when it comes to what's going on in our community?
Well, we have to go to these people and ask them, because we sitting here cannot say what's in the minds of some of these people. At least I certainly can't.
Well, at the same time, we do know what they're not doing, so we know that's not on their mind as far as being a part of the community. That part we do know, and that part we can address. And it is only fair to bring to the attention of the public that we got issues that our trustees and city council people, commission, nobody addresses with the people. They just bring it to the people and say, here it is, and they move right on. So, no,
and
we have to
sometimes they don't even the people.
No. Well, when I say bring it to the people, I mean dump the problem on the people.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Sometimes we don't know about certain things until we end up down there in front of the city council.
He was talking about Clay Jenkins, and he made the statement that he didn't want to hold a meeting in the southern sector because he did not want to hear the arguing and the bickering. So he has no respect for our community.
Well, the bottom line, he's got to understand that it was the black community that voted him in.
Absolutely.
Right. Oh, definitely so.
But it had to be coming from, advice had to be from somebody that was black in order for him to say that, because Clay knows where he got his from, and to say that was disrespectful. And I don't know if he realized that or not.
You have to understand, we don't know who told him to say that, but we do know whose mouth it came out of. So we have to understand that. Now, you know, I love to look at situations from different perspectives, and the bottom line, if you tell me to say something, Reverend Wright, and I know it's not apropos or appropriate, I'm not going to say it because I've got a brain and I know how to think.
That's true.
All right, 972-647-1893. Let's go to Billy on line 3. All righty. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning, sir.
All right, how are you?
Good morning to you, guests.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me say first, I was trying to get in touch with Reverend Wright. I've been trying to get in touch with him for a couple of months. But what I'd like to say about your
You got my number?
No, sir, I don't have it, and I certainly need to get in touch with you real bad.
Okay.
But my issue is Commissioner Price better get him a good lawyer because he's fighting schemers. If you get them on one end, they're going to come up with something else on the other end. So you got to get you a good lawyer. And then this is my take on these journalists on all these TV stations that look like us. Your integrity ought to mean more to you than to get on that news media. That news media and cut your own folk down without a cause. Now, when you put stuff out there, people is apt to believe, well, this man did something unscrupulous. If you check from the mayor down, everybody done took money under the table. Every last politician. Now, you remember Al Lipson, you remember Hicks, you remember Diane Ragsdale. When you speak out against wrong, they coming after you. They go if they find
you said Diane did that?
When I'm saying when you speak out against wrong, they'll come after you. That's like you and Reverend Wright. Sooner or later, they're going to try to come up with something on y'all.
Well, here's the whole dynamic.
There won't be money with
situation. If you are elected and black, you know, please do not do anything wrong. Because right. I'm sure every conversation you have on your telephone or wherever you may be, somebody is recording you. They have cameras everywhere. Everywhere you go, you can't even walk down the streets. Big Brother's watching you. That's true. So you have to keep your nose clean if you're black and elected. Don't take any bribes. Don't think you can go hide in church parking lots and meet somebody there in the dark and think you're going to get away with it. No, they one of our politicians, they were all in the church parking lot filming them as they were taking bribes. You have to live above board life. If you're an African American politician or whatever, or if you're outspoken, you have to live. You just can't go around taking things that and get away with what other people are doing. That's their system. They know their system. They know how it works. And many times they will plant people there to try to throw you off. They plant people, send them, and people look just like you. People that will try to befriend you. They send them to get you.
Well, you remember that lady that he got into it with on the court from North Dallas? She said she would get it.
Dickie?
One way or the other, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, well, Miss Dickie, people don't realize that Dickie's barbecue is nationwide.
It is.
That woman got a lot of money.
Yeah.
That woman. And I'm sure there are those around him that he teed off. They probably teamed up and they said, we're going to find something on him. And they can always use certain entities such as the IRS and different things if we can't prove nothing. And if our charges are so frivolous we can't prove anything, we can always miss where you miss 50 cents on your income tax, and we're going to get you.
And then they say giving him 140 years, and people kill people don't get that much.
Well, that 140 years is to say, see, they're saying that one of the young ladies was this pack mule. He had to go through her in order to get a contract with Dallas County. And this is one of the ways they're listed. I read the report. They're saying Kathy Neely you had to do business with Kathy Neely before you could do business with Dallas County through John Wiley. And they are saying
that's illegal.
Well, I'm just telling you what I'm just giving y'all what's in the report. This is public record. Y'all can go pull it too. Just go pull it up on the internet. It's right there.
Absolutely, it's on the internet.
And they're saying that she would take the money, and John would always vote with these people. They're throwing 119 years. How many years are they talking about? 106, a whole lot of years out there. They're trying to get those people to break down.
That's it.
And spill the beans.
Yeah.
That's what they're scaring them to death.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They said now all you got was this little measly contract. You mean to tell me I'm gonna send you're gonna go to jail for the next 170 years? You better tell me, and I might let you off and get you off with 1 year. Somebody's gonna talk if it's true.
They'll threaten you and try to get you to say what they want you to say, and you take a plea bargain and get time.
Yeah, but the plea bargain, what you're saying is, will be condemning to the person who they really want.
Yes.
Now, believe me, my brother, they want more than John. There are other politicians that's being floated around behind the scenes. I'm not going to call their names. Oh, they want them so bad, it's unreal. I'm talking about right here in Dallas County. They want these politicians. All right, we thank you for your call.
All right, sir.
All right, 972-647-1893, 972-647-1893. Where is Reverend Crenshaw? Give me line 4. You try to get him on. He went to line 4.
Good morning.
Good morning, Reb. You there?
I was on so long that it dropped off. The line dropped off. But
the line dropped? Okay, I thought you were talking. All right, go ahead.
Dispense with the formality.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
I want to. Dr. Wallace is really a welcome man. Welcome. He can really think. He's an import. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I really appreciate you. I really do. But I'm going to say this. Jesus, I would tell people that. Jesus was, they want to get rid of Moses. Then they want to get rid of Jesus as baby. But toward the end of his life, when Pontius Pilate had brought him up, they had already flogged him, beat him. Now, whom shall I release? It's customary for me to release a person during that time.
That's
whom
it.
Shall I?
That's the Bible.
And this is the truth. It's a Barabbas. Well, what should we do with this man? Just go crucify him. But the thing about it, this man has done nothing to me. But bring me that bowl out. I'm going to wash my hands. Now, y'all go and crucify me if you want to. This Jewish politics, like everything is political. The church is political. Always has been. Everything is political. Everything is run by Lucifer.
All right.
Everything.
He's the prince of the air.
Yes, he is.
And Lewis Latimer invented the light bulb, not Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison is responsible for alternating current. And America was named after a more named Amerigo Vespucci. Let me make that straight. Now,
I tell you what, Reb, we up against a short break. We're up against a short break. All right, thank you. Thank you for your call, and y'all can reach us at 972-647-1893. We'll be right. All right, we're back on Church Information at Open Forum. I'm Marion Barnett, your host. Reverend Ron Wright is our special guest, along with Dr. Juanita Wallace. And you can reach us at 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 1 and say good morning to Doc. All right, good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Thank you for being so patient, man.
Okay, let me turn my radio down. Reverend Barnett.
Yes,
I know you remember, but they have investigated every black person on the city council at one time. You remember that?
Sure.
And when Laura Miller got in office, she said her first object was to fire the chief of police. And she did that.
Right.
I was with him until he got on the television crying like a baby, saying he wouldn't be able to get a dog catcher's job. But my main objective is these people are investigating every black person that run for office.
Definitely so.
Not only John Wiley Price, but on the city council.
Right.
And you got a guy down there now, Dwayne Caraway, and he is, in other words, he's got an ordinance. I don't know why he couldn't think of anything else. He wanted to have people charged for bags. You remember that?
Yeah, we had Dwayne's upset with me talking about his plastic bags. Now,
I just want to bring some things here. Remember?
I don't go right ahead. I haven't forgotten any of them.
All right.
All right. Need to investigate that.
Dwayne in his plastic bags. All right.
Sir, I want to just chime in very quickly and tell you about the FBI investigation that I had to undergo. You can recall back in 2011 when they first arrested John and went into his home and went into his office, the NAACP came out the very next day and did a press release and a press conference in the news media there. And about 2 days later, Robert Casey, who came out of Chicago, was the FBI person, and he contacted me and said he needed to meet with me. Well, he came down to where I lived along with another man in a black suit with sunglasses on. I told him, why don't you take the sunglasses off so I can look at your eyes when you talk to me? Well, they did. They talked to me for a few minutes, and then after that, they went back to the office, called me again, and said I needed to come out to their office. So I went out to their office. Yes, I did. And I met with them. Now, understanding the fact that initially I told you that I don't take bribes. I don't take money from anybody. After that meeting with them, I met with about 4 different FBI agents there. And ironically, it was only one in the room. And I told him, I said, ooh, it's nice to see a black FBI agent making, fun of them to some degree. But nevertheless, I haven't heard from them since yesterday. So you have to understand, like the gentleman said earlier, every one of us on scrutiny, every one of us speak out about justice, they're going to be investigating. And I wanted our listening audience to know about this.
All right.
Well, they definitely already investigate all of us to stand up for our people. They probably wanted to know, in your case, were you being paid by the commissioner to stand up for the NAACP, to stand up for him? Did he give you a little change? I don't know what the questions were, but
absolutely not.
That's probably what they wanted to know. If John was paying you, because he know an organization like the NAACP supporting him is a little trouble. They trust me, they definitely investigate. They've always investigated us before we even started.
All right. 972-647-1893. Let's go to the root doctor on line 2. All righty. Good morning.
Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning.
And Pastor Wright and Pastor
Barnett.
Yeah, Barnett. How y'all doing? I'm sorry, brother. I was just got my attention distracted. And also, good morning to our Queen Mother, Sister Juanita Wallace.
Good morning. Thank you for acknowledging.
Yeah. Good. Honey, yes. Any good African acknowledges another good African. Listen, just a couple of things, and like you to do, and that is number one. In spite of the fact that the history of the formation of the NAACP involves 3 rich white people.
Yes.
Like in 1906, 1911, I think it was. It certainly is.
1909.
1909. Thank you. It certainly is irrefutable. One moment, please, Mr. Wallace. Hi, yes, sir. All right, Jerry Bradley Jr. Yes, sir.
Who?
Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, you all. I apologize. But anyway, they
it is a full moon.
I know that was really funny, wasn't it, right?
Yes, it was.
But anyway, I apologize. This is community radio, right, Rev?
Yeah, but is it a full moon, my brother?
Yeah, right. Oh, no. But what I wanted Sister Wallace to do is give us a history on how that any organization that's dedicated to the liberation and the independence and the forward motion and of the African race in this country or anywhere around the country can ever be successful, number one, with the inclusion of the oppressor. That's the first question. Now, you with me now?
Yes, I'm following you.
And then secondly, speak to how it is that even after 111 years of a stellar service to the African community in this country, and even other countries throughout the world who have taken inspiration from the NAACP and their monumental and totally unprecedented forays into white supremacy, how it is that we still at this day, 2014, still maintain that we are about 12% of the population, according to what the Census Bureau tells us. That's what they tell us now, about 40 million. And how it is that with Willie Lynch, and how that we are ill, our illness is beyond measurement. How we continue to advance to African people that voting in a white racist supremacist country is the answer to anything that we can do, unless you have a situation like Lowndes County in the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party and the entire state of Mississippi, where African people, or at least
let her answer answer the first question.
Thank you.
Let me just take just a few minutes, because I'm going to synthesize this for you so you'll understand. The bottom line, NAACP was started by whites, blacks, and a Jewish person. Mm-hmm. These were good-willed people that saw injustice prevailing, okay? And they wanted to come together, and they came together, and they elicited the support of 16 people. And those 16 people, which primarily were blacks, said, okay, while you came up with the idea, we're going to go ahead and create NAACP in 1909. With that creation, we can allow anybody to become a member of the NAACP, because first of all, we've got a goal, we got the mission, and they pick, for the most part, strong people that can handle that kind of organization. I have 2 white people in my group. There's 21 different people on the executive committee. 2 of them happen to be white, one a judge and one a school teacher. Now, there's no way with the mission statement and with my strong personality, they're going to go outside of doing what the mission has dictated for us to do, and I'm going to sit there and allow them to do that. That sort of answers the one question. The other thing you talked about is Willie Lynch. I'm very familiar with Willie Lynch, and what you have to do is understand that he put that in place way back when before we were even free. And what he said in that statement to the slave owners, he said, I'll put this in place and it will perpetuate itself for centuries and centuries. In other words, pit each other, pit the short one against the tall one, the light skin against the dark, et cetera, pit them against each other, and they will perpetuate that for the rest of their life. And that's what we've done. So here's my point to you. We have to learn how to take what it is in this system that was created by whites for whites and turn it over to make it advantageous to ourselves. And the bottom line is voting is one of the things. Now, if you can't acknowledge anything, you have to acknowledge and look at the data. The people that put President Barack Obama in office because of the vote, and they put him in, it was black women, Hispanics, college kids, and then there were a few goodwill white folks that put him in. That's what the data shows. With that being said, there's always going to be a multiplicity of people, ethnic groups, as well as ethnicity. And the bottom line is I can work with anybody as long as they understand my mission and don't get interfere with it. As a black person, I believe that our DNA dictates that we're strong people. There's no way Anybody else could have traveled on this ship across to the New World, they call it, but it wasn't new because the Indians were already there. But at any rate, could have come over on a boat crammed up like they did and survived that horrific trip and still be able to stand. It's in our DNA. So the bottom line, sir, I'm all right with anybody becoming a part of the NAACP because they got a position and I got a position.
Well,
thank you.
He's questioning the beginning of it, but you had people like W.B. Du Bois was there in the beginning, one of the most brilliant minds that we've ever produced in the world. I don't care what ethnicity, what color, whatever. Brilliant man, first African American that graduated from Harvard with a doctorate degree, and we had there are other people now. When we began to look at our civil rights organizations, you've always had a few of the other people that were there to help. They didn't run it. Dr.
They
King,
were helping.
They were there, even helped with Dr. King. They didn't run it.
Better know it.
But they were there. And you always had concerned white people. All white people aren't evil. I always say that. All are not evil. You got a lot of them that are. But you just can't condemn everyone because you get angry and then really get emotional about the situation. We want to say everything white is bad and everything black is good. Now that's a lie. We have to tell the truth about the whole situation. We got some bad black folks too. All right, 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to James from Palestine, line 3. Good morning, James.
Yes, good morning, Reverend Barnett, and your guests. I really appreciate all of your expertise and everyone calling in this morning. I'm sure we'd like for Dr. Wallace to maybe do a training to all the other presidents of the NAACP because we need some of that down here in Palestine.
All you got to do is invite me, give me the date and the time.
Yes, ma'am. Maybe I can get your number after a minute, unless you want to give it right now. But some other things.
Office number 214-916-9919.
I got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Comments I want to make, Reverend Barnett, the program before you talked about the Slocum incident. I'm aware of that, and there's a lady by the name of Barnett, Elizabeth Barnett from the Grapeland, Houston County, Texas area that was involved. They had to get out of Slocum, but that's another program. But talking about what you're talking about today, I really appreciate all of your work and what you're doing. And then John Wiley Price, we do have someone from Anderson County that is in his office. And when we're focusing on John Wiley Price, there is a support system under him, people that work in his office that's going to be a part of this, and they're probably going to need some legal help or something. So all of them are going to be playing a major role in whatever happens to John Wiley Price.
They're not going to put the whole office in jail, are they? Had you heard this one, Neil?
No, I haven't.
Have the whole office going to jail?
I don't got a word. Somebody told me, I hadn't seen it on the TV, that the Dallas Metroplex News had this name, a lady from down in Palestine, part of the Slocum area. Her name was mentioned that she was being, some family members are concerned about it. I'll leave that name alone for right now. But when you mentioned about how we act as a people, that was a book I read years ago in service called Black Skin, White Mask. Reverend Wright, I hear you a lot what you be saying. And that book was written by Franz Fanon, a black French writer. And what he said was very true about us as a people. And that judge earlier on that you were talking about was Carlos Cortez. Because I've been keeping up with his conduct the way he's been doing up there. And we all have a civic duty to get out there. And I would like to see the preachers, the churches, because when the judgment begins, when Jesus and God come, they're going to start there first. And if we get all the preachers to get all their members and let's go together and let's come together with our Reverend Barnett, you say this all the time, with the expertise, we can handle a lot of the issues in our community. I would say, like you say, it takes a village, not only for children, but for adults. If we could go through the community, just like they did when that shovel thing blew up, the government sent all kind of people scattered all over Palestine, East Texas, and everywhere looking for little pieces. If we can do the same for our people, no matter how someone's on drugs, done killed somebody, or whatever the heck it is, if the people that claim to be Christians come out of that church house and get out there and walk like Jesus, and let's go walk these streets down in these alleys and things, and let's pull these people out of there. Let's be real Christians, or shut up and sit down somewhere and quit being hypocrites, because I myself here in Palestine, I'm tired of our women and children suffering. We men can kind of deal with it a little bit, but our women and children suffer because of our ignorance and stupidity.
James, before you go, let me ask Dr. Wallace. She's a lay person. She's the only non-preacher here on the panel.
Yes.
Why do black people follow passive preachers who will not speak on liberation?
No,
I want to hear this answer.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I think what happened with a lot of congregants, whether they be female or male, is the ones that are very passive are recruited, and they can sit there and listen to a non-committed, a lethargic preacher. But if you have
do they call him humble or something because he's passive?
Sometimes they think that humbleness is being laid back and not doing what you need to do.
Right.
And preachers will fall into that particular status because they're really trying to fool the people. But we have to understand that you can be an activist and you can and still be humble, because faith without works is dead. So you have to be active, and we've allowed people to turn activism into a negative connotation when in fact activism is no more the source of acting.
Well, that's why
everybody needs to be doing.
Jesus got crucified because he was an activist.
Absolutely.
You think if he was going along with the powers that be in the status quo, they didn't crucify him for one of the boys, the good old boys.
Well, we have to understand a lot of preachers were sent and not called.
Come on now.
All right.
See, you have to understand the difference between that.
Yeah. Can I close out?
Go right here, James.
The greatest revolutionist that ever lived was Jesus Christ. So people talk about he didn't do anything, and it says the government is up on his shoulder. We must remember that and not be afraid to get out here on these streets and wave our hand, do theatrics, like Reverend Wright said, Dr. Wallace. Let's get out of here. Some of us may get shut down, but that's all part of the process. We have a fiduciary duty, and so do leaders in our community, whether they preachers or whatever they are, elected officials. They take sworn oath. Either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. You're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And we need to hold people accountable, like you're saying, to get involved in our government systems and get used to the Texas government codes, Open Meeting Act, Freedom of Information, and this home rule that y'all mentioning up in Dallas. I've been monitoring that for a long time and keeping up. But also in local government, there is a home rule that has a charter constitution. And I read in one city near Dallas up there, they had cut their speaking time down to 3 minutes rather than 5. And
once a month.
Allow these people to come to a council meeting only once a month or something. What kind of thing is that?
Juanita, have you wore your month out yet?
No. What I do is I speak every month or every 30 days. That's the rule, and you only have 3 minutes. But back to the speaker regarding the home rule. The home rule is a legislative. It's a Texas legislation that was passed in 1995, and it's never been used in the state of Texas until now. And that's when that mayor decided that he was going to try to get his hands on the $1.5 billion.
Right.
Because if he can get the charter written so he becomes a controlling mayor, then he will have access to the money. And that's what it's all about.
That's a giant step into becoming a strong mayor.
Where has it been successful at in the United States?
It has never been tried in the United States, and in the other states where they have something similar, it brings down nothing but trouble and all of the black communities.
Case in point, Chicago.
Chicago, exactly.
Yes, yeah. Case in point, it has been a disaster. All right, thank you. All righty, 972-647 winning. How much time do I have? All right, let's take a break so we won't interfere with our callers. Y'all hang on the line, and we will be back. All right, we are on Information Open Forum. I'm Marion, Barnett, your host. Reverend Wright, Dr. Wallace is our guest this morning. And we're going to line one and say good morning to, is that Tedros? Righty?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you all doing?
Fine.
Great.
I'm enjoying the conversation. Quick thing, I don't want a lot of time. But the gentleman called in and said something about white people separating from white people and them not being totally isolated. Well, if you study our history of this country, you will find that John Brown was white. He led one of the biggest revolutions against white supremacy that ever existed in the United States. So you will find out that Thaddeus Stevens and Charles Sumner, the two radical Republicans, they are the reasons why the legislation got passed. Not really Lincoln, but that 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, and also that whole deal of Reconstruction Act coming into place from those two white men. So when we study, we really study, we find out that there have always been white people that have fought against white supremacy, along with people. There's always been humane people.
Absolutely.
And if you really study, you will find out that there have been black people on the opposite side of that pole. If you study Marcus Garvey's movement, you will find out that the black agents that had made deals with J. Edgar Hoover and to go against black people. If you study Malcolm X,
they have sink his ship.
That were black. The same thing with Dr. King. There's a book called Artists to Kill by William Peppers, and he gives names of specific black people that played along the road to help Dr. King himself.
Absolutely.
So, my brother, I'm telling you, when you're making a very, very dangerous thing, you get here and just you go on by race only, you got to look at the quality of the person and the product. There are a lot of people who make that mistake day to day who are African, who make that mistake. You got to do it the quality of the person. And I want to make reference to Jewish people. Well, I think it's very important also to find that Jew is not a race. It's a religion. Jew is not a race. The first Holocaust to take place took place in 1904 and 1905. It took place, it was led by Barnett, who came out of Germany against the Haruru people and the Namla people of Namibia, Africa. That's the first Holocaust. When the white Jews in Europe caught the hell from Hitler, that comes much later on. And also, I'm going to say this. Jesse Owens always kept a picture of Hitler in his back pocket for this one reason. After he won the Olympic Games in Germany, Hitler shook his hand in defeat. He shook his hand and told him, congratulations, as much as he hated black people. But Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who's the President of the United States, did not even acknowledge Jesse Owens, didn't shake his hand or anything. Now go check that out. So, I think we have to study before we make all these conclusions just blindly. And one more thing.
What conclusions do you think were made blind? And we support we've made statements exactly of what you're saying. So what do you?
About the guy that called in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's who I thought he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And last but not least, when you agree in reference to Commissioner Price, who I love dearly, I think he's done some great things, and he's made quite a contribution to black people's liberation.
Okay, give us an example so the people in the community can know, because they've been asking what has he been doing.
Well, I think to lead the protest, to go before and speak out on some of the stuff that was going on back at Townview.
Like?
Years ago, before it became Yvonne Euro Center, he was out there and they were making out, it was a big hoorah about how the black students were being treated, because there was a lot of racism involved. If you go study the article now.
They've been treated better now?
Yes, they are. As a matter of fact,
and what's who?
He was referring to
just to Townview. But what about the black students and all the other schools?
Well, you know what,
it's left up to the actual administrators.
I'm talking about, you asked me a specific question.
Yeah, you asked the question. I agree. I hear what you're saying.
Okay, and I'm saying that at least he had the balls to speak out. There are a lot of people I could call that won't say anything. They just been very, very quiet on issues. So if nothing else, I'm not a condemner of someone that speaks out, but I will say this. If you agree to be as a politician, because everything is political, like some gentleman called in and said, everything is. If you agree to, be on that side of the fence where they are, then you got to believe that they're watching you, and they are going to do everything they can to get you in any way they can when they get ready to get you, if that makes sense, if you follow me. And that's not new. They watched King, and that's before technology was even big. They watched Malcolm. They studied even Medgar Evers. They had ways of tapping bones, all that back then. So if they had that back then, it's a lot easier now with technology having advanced like it has. So I would say when you agree to a deal, I don't want to say necessarily the devil, but when you make certain deals, and they feel like you're coming against them in some way, then they're going to find ways to come against you, and a lot of times they're going to be using your own people. That's my case. You all have a good day. Bye.
All right.
Thank you very much.
For your call.
Oh, yes.
All right. Nicholas on the line, 972-647-1893. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 2 and say good morning to LeJulian. Good morning. No, I guess LeJulian is gone. Dr. Wallace, let me ask you, when the NAACP first started in 1909, and Dr. Dubois and all the rest were there. There were lynchings that was done publicly, and they did these public lynchings. They used to have them on Sundays and have their lynchings and eat dinner while black men were being lynched and burned. And the later, the name picnic came out of the lynching during that time. I'm not talking about the Dallas chapter, but just in general, have we become more sophisticated as they do? There's still public lynchings.
Absolutely.
And do you have to check with Baltimore on things that you do, and to make sure that if anything come up, you in line with Baltimore? Is that still the rap on the NAACP or what?
As pretty much somewhat. But the bottom line is, once you become the president or in a lead position, you take time to research what it is you can and cannot do. So, but the bottom line is, let's say, for instance, leading a protest. When I went to the national conference here recently, I went to their makeshift office and received information so that I could go ahead and start a protest, because I'm going to do a protest here in the city of Dallas. I heard you mention that the one mayor said we don't need the publicity. Yeah, we did. We had a protest.
Oh yeah, well, he's going to stop the blame game.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a protest here, but I'm going to follow the rules and the regulations that's laid out by the national, because the whole idea, that's the three ways you can get something changed: agitation, legislation, and actually protest, which you use another word. But we're going to protest. To answer your question incomplete, I know what I'm supposed to do. And as the president, I'm a spokesperson for the entire branch. I also know that there are certain things that I'm supposed to do. There are certain things I need to contact national. Advocacy is always important, and I always try to get the help with PR, get their help with funding if there is funds need to be available. So I know what I'm supposed to do.
All right. We just want to get a clarification on that, because some people have really held back from the NAACP because they feel like you always have to go. It used to be New York, but now it's Baltimore, where the home.
But let me
office
tell you, some people that have been president in this branch, they have used that as a crutch, not to do anything. And see, the bottom line is, every time I get in my car and ride to a different destination and address an issue or contact someone and have to meet them somewhere, that's on me. And I can say yes or no. But most of the time I say yes, or I change the date and say, what about this date? But unless I know what the issue is or know where to come to meet you or you've contacted me, then I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what's going on all over the city, because I've got a life too. Family and...
well, you and Leah Alcorn have been, my own personal opinion, I've been a part of, known it for years. You and Leah Alcorn have stood out greatly as presidents of NAACP.
Appreciate that.
All right, we're going to try to get everybody in. All right, let's go to line one and say good morning to Cleophas. One, Cleophas.
Concerning the preachers.
Yes.
Being the leader of the community, if you look, the preachers have been bought out. Most of your preachers been bought out by the government, the faith-based money.
Okay.
They was investigating your big preachers about their big jets and their private planes. You never hear anything else about that on the news, because they sat down and they got quiet. And if they won't lead God, they sure not going to lead the people to God.
Wow. You're making some big statements, Cleophas.
So what do you think? What do you think about that?
Say that again.
I said, what is your opinion on that?
Well, I just think that they, like I say, they're scared to give up their gold. They don't want to give up their richness, their private jets, and their big house to lead the people's right. They feed their sheep, but most of their sheep don't need milk. They need meat.
All right. Thank you, Cleophas. All right. 972-647-1893. Let's go to line 3 and say good morning to Billy. All righty. Bring me line 3 up. All right. Billy?
Good morning, Reverend Barnett, you and your guests.
Good morning.
I would like a comment on Brother John Waller Price and all your other topics that y'all were talking about. St. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. And proverb about sin is a reproach to any nation or person. And there's another radio host said, let us live above reproaches. And then in Psalms, it said, it wasn't enemy that betrayed me, and I'm paraphrasing. It was my equal, my friend. We took sweet counsel together. And I thank you all for listening. Y'all have a great day.
All righty.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Billy. When we look at all that's going on, we're just about out of time. It's probably my job line is probably waiting. But let's how do you say? Let's wrap up, Dr. Wallace. What do you feel like things are going on right now? How should we?
I think we have a lot of distractions, and we must not be distracted. There are things coming from the right, coming from the left, but we have to maintain our focus and understand. First of all, contrary to some people, we have got to vote. We vote in people based off of the issues, and then they're going to represent us based off of the issues. The other thing I want to say to everybody that's listening, Home Rule School District is not for Dallas Independent School District. We must keep that school district independent. If we allow the mayor and the superintendent to take us to home rule, we're giving them permission to steal $1.5 billion from the children and $1.3 billion from the actual.
We also need to hold accountable those officials whom we directly elect. I'm talking about those African Americans.
That's why we have to.
They're quiet or they're for it. Actually, I think most of them are for it, and that's why they're so quiet. They're trying to lay dead and take money on the table and not speak against it. But I tell you what,
call them out.
All right, gotta call them out. All right, let's go to our job line and say good morning to
Greg.
Yeah, Mr. Greg Barber. Good morning, Greg. You there?
I'm here, Reverend Barnett.
Okay, I didn't realize we had you or not. All right, are there any jobs out there?
There are awesome jobs out here this morning on our SAT job line. That's Solutions and Actions Today job line. Brought to you every Saturday morning during church information and open forum. 89.3, the voice of the people. This morning on the job line, we have English Color and Supplies list for warehouse workers that you can apply. You can send your email to bsledge@englishcolor.com, or you can fax it to 972-744-0886. Once again, that's English Color and Supplies looking for warehouse workers. You can you can email your resume to bsledge, BSLEDGE, @englishcolor.com, or you can fax it to 972-744-0886. Capo Rug is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply in person Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 4205 McEwen, MCEWEN Road, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas. Once again, that's Capo Rug is looking for warehouse associates. They're asking you to apply in person Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Dallas store, 4205 McEwen Road. That's MCEWEN Road, Suite 200, Dallas, Texas. Honeywell is looking for warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.careers@honeywell.com. Once again, that's Honeywell is looking for warehouse workers. They're asking you to apply online at www.careers@honeywell.com. UPS is looking for warehouse workers. Must be 18 years old to work, 21 to drive. No felony convictions. Apply at www.ups.com/careers with an S. Once again, that's UPS is looking for warehouse work. That's can you apply online at www.ups.com/careers with an S. Dealer Tire is looking for warehouse workers and drivers. It's $12.85 an hour. Contact for more information. The number to call is 800-933-2537, extension 6502. Monday through Friday. Dealer Tires looking for warehouse workers and drivers. Starting pay is $12.85 an hour. For information for inquiry is 800-933-2537, extension 6502. Once again, that number is 800-933-2537, extension 6502. If you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. Once again, if you are a child-loving, patient, and energetic individual and would like to work in a daycare setting, the number for inquiry is 972-290-4995. If you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make the transition back into mainstream society and need assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Once again, if you are a person affected by addiction and need assistance with your recovery efforts, or an ex-offender trying to make that transition back into mainstream society and needs assistance with job search, the number for inquiry is 214-634-2722. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. I repeat that. Today is a good day if you're looking for a job to find one. Today is also a great day to make a place for church information in open form and follow through with. Today is also a great day to make a place for church information in open form and follow through with. Just a brief note, I want to send my condolences out to the Wheeler and Doss family in the loss of their loved one, Edward Wheeler. He's a classmate of mine at Kimball High School, and to the Polk family in the loss of Albert Polk. Earth has no pain that heaven can't heal. And with that, we bring our SAT job line to a close.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Thank all of you for listening. And, thank you, Dr. Wright. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor, for having us.
And Dr. Wallace, and thank all of you. I'm the senior pastor of Heavenly Joy Church, located at Bruton and Masters. Come and visit us. We start at 11 a.m., Sunday school 9:30. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Bye-bye.
Knon 89.3 FM in Dallas and Fort Worth, the voice of the people.
Business owners, tell KNON's listeners about your business. You can put your business or event on KNON. KNON currently has space available to run announcements for you. Tell KNON's listeners about your goods, services, nightclub, concert, or event. Help keep the voice of the people on the air while putting your information on the air. KNON's been named the #1 radio station in Dallas by both the Dallas Observer and D Magazine. Put your business with Dallas's #1 station. Call now for more information at 214-828-9500, extension 227, or extension 233. For more information, go to KNON.org and click on the Run Spots on KNON page. It's a great way for your business to support community radio while letting more people know about you.